We'd like to start off saying thank you to all our listeners. You guys are amazing. Welcome to the Crime Bull podcast with Bill and Jill, where it's true crime, no bull. Please like and subscribe. We're really trying to grow this channel and make it massive. Like and subscribe, guys. Okay, let's solve some crime. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a case that's as baffling as it is heartbreaking, the disappearance of Audrey May Herron. This isn't just another missing persons case. It's a story that's gripped the small town of Catskill, New York, for over 2 decades. And our primary source for this deep dive is a chilling article from City Towner, a website that really gets into the underbelly of towns and cities across America.
And it's the kind of case that really makes you question the facade of safety we often associate with small-town life. Catskill, with its picturesque landscapes and tight-knit community, becomes the backdrop for a mystery that's as unsettling as it is enduring.
It really sets the stage for a true crime story, doesn't it? So let's rewind to August 29, 2002. Audrey, a dedicated nurse and mother of 3, finishes her shift at the Greene County Long-Term Care Center around 11 p.m. She gets into her black 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee, license plate X233UV, and begins the familiar drive home to Freehold, a small hamlet just a few miles outside of Catskill. But she never arrives. What strikes me is that this wasn't some late-night joyride on a deserted highway. This was her routine route home.
Exactly, and that's what makes the complete lack of evidence even more perplexing. The City Towner article emphasizes how Audrey was known for her reliability and dedication to both her family and her work. She wasn't the type to just vanish. It's as if she simply ceased to exist somewhere along that 12-mile stretch of road.
The article paints a picture of a woman who is deeply rooted in her community. A 31-year-old licensed practical nurse married with 3 young children between the ages of 6 and 12. It's hard to imagine the impact her sudden absence must have had on her family.
It's devastating, and the fact that there's been no trace of her, no sign of her Jeep, no personal belongings found, deepens the mystery. If this were a case of foul play, wouldn't we expect some kind of clue to surface?
That's what I keep coming back to. The article details a massive search effort involving local and state police, volunteers, helicopters, search dogs. They really combed through the area, but the terrain around Catskill is quite challenging. Winding roads, dense woods, numerous bodies of water.
It's like searching for a needle in a haystack, and then some. The vastness and complexity of the terrain create a real challenge for investigators. Imagine trying to locate a single vehicle hidden somewhere within hundreds of acres of dense forest. It's a daunting task, even with modern technology.
And then there's the factor of time. Over 20 years have passed. Wouldn't natural elements, weather, animal activity, all of that, wouldn't it have altered any potential evidence?
Absolutely. The passage of time is a double-edged sword in cases like this. On one hand, it allows for the possibility of new leads emerging, memories being jogged, or even technological advancements that could aid in the investigation. But on the other hand, it allows for the degradation of evidence, the blurring of memories, and the increasing difficulty of piecing together a coherent narrative.
It makes you wonder what the initial stages of the investigation were like. Did the police consider any particular theories early on?
The article touches on a few. Of course, given the circumstances, a random act of violence is a possibility. Carjacking, abduction, these were certainly considered, especially with the Jeep also missing.
That seems like a natural place to start, especially in the absence of any other obvious leads.
Yeah.
But did the investigators find anything to support that theory?
Unfortunately, no. No signs of a struggle, no witnesses, no reports of suspicious activity in the area. And this is where the case takes a turn towards the truly perplexing. The lack of evidence doesn't point definitively towards foul play, but it doesn't rule it out either.
So we're left in a sort of gray area with more questions than answers. It's almost as if Audrey simply drove off the map. And speaking of the map, the City Towner article mentions Audrey was driving home to Freehold, a hamlet near Catskill. Could the location itself hold some clue? I mean, was Freehold known for any particular dangers or have any history of similar disappearances?
That's a really good question. And while the article doesn't delve into Freehold's specific history, it does highlight the unsettling feeling that permeated the community following Audrey's disappearance. It's as if the very notion of safety was shattered.
It's easy to see how an event like this could shake a small town to its core. Everyone knows everyone, there's a sense of shared trust, and then something like this happens. It must have sent shockwaves through Catskill.
Absolutely. The article mentions a wave of fear and uncertainty that gripped the town. People were double-checking their locks, questioning the safety of their own families. It's a stark reminder that even in the most idyllic settings, the darkness can find its way in. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? One moment you're living in a peaceful community and the next, the unthinkable happens. and the sense of security you once took for granted is gone. The article mentions that Audrey's disappearance had a profound impact on Catskill, turning everyday routines into moments of anxiety and suspicion.
It makes you wonder about the psychological toll on the residents,
Yeah.
especially those who knew Audrey personally. Did the article mention how her family coped with this sudden and unexplained loss?
It touches upon their unwavering determination to find answers. Audrey's husband, Jeff, and their 3 children have been tireless advocates for her case, keeping her story alive in the hopes that someone, somewhere, might hold a crucial piece of information.
That must take incredible strength to keep fighting for answers after all these years. Did the article mention any specific actions they took to keep Audrey's case in the public eye?
They organized vigils, distributed flyers, and participated in numerous media interviews, always emphasizing Audrey's loving nature and devotion to her family. Their efforts have been instrumental in ensuring that Audrey's case isn't forgotten, and it speaks to the power of hope, even in the face of such overwhelming uncertainty.
It's inspiring to see such resilience in the face of tragedy. But what about the investigation itself? Did it ever move beyond those initial theories we discussed?
The article mentions that the case eventually went cold, but law enforcement continued to review the evidence periodically, hoping for a breakthrough. And in 2017, there was a significant development. The New York State Police held a press conference specifically to renew public interest in Audrey's case.
That's a smart move. Sometimes all it takes is a little reminder to jog someone's memory. Someone out there might have seen something that seemed insignificant at the time, but could be crucial to solving the puzzle.
Exactly. They emphasize that even the smallest detail could be important, urging anyone with any information, no matter how trivial it might seem, to come forward. They also released an age-progressed photo of Audrey, showing what she might look like after all those years.
It must have been bittersweet for her family, seeing that image, a reminder of the time that's passed,
Yeah.
but also a glimmer of hope that someone might recognize her.
It's a poignant reminder that for Audrey's family, time hasn't stood still. They've aged, their children have grown, but the pain of her absence remains a constant presence in their lives.
And the mystery continues to haunt Catskill, I imagine. The town itself becomes a character in this story, a place forever marked by this unsolved disappearance.
You're right. The article really captures that sense of a community grappling with a wound that refuses to heal. Audrey's disappearance isn't just a personal tragedy. It's a communal one. It's a reminder that even in the most seemingly idyllic settings, the unexpected can occur, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss.
It makes you wonder if there are any specific aspects of the case that investigators might be focusing on now, after all these years.
Yeah.
Did the City Towner article shed any light on any new leads or investigative avenues?
The article mentions that the search for Audrey's Jeep has continued, with volunteers and even private investigators exploring potential locations where the vehicle might be hidden. You'd think after all this time, someone would have stumbled upon it. It's not exactly a small car.
You'd think so, right? But then again, we're talking about a vast rural area with dense woodlands and waterways. I suppose it's entirely possible for a vehicle to remain undiscovered for decades.
It is. And that's what makes this case so compelling. It challenges our assumptions about the passage of time, the limitations of human perception, and the enduring power of mystery. The City Towner article hints at the possibility that the Jeep might hold the key to unlocking the truth behind Audrey's disappearance.
If the Jeep could be located, it could potentially provide valuable forensic evidence, or at least narrow down the search area. But what if it's never found? Are there any other avenues investigators could explore to gain new insights into this case?
There's always the hope that advances in DNA technology might yield new clues. Even if the Jeep isn't found, there's a possibility that trace evidence collected during the initial investigation could be re-examined using modern techniques. And of course, there's the enduring possibility that someone might come forward with new information.
It's fascinating to consider how technology might play a role in solving cold cases like this. It's almost like a race against time. As forensic science advances, the possibility of finding answers, even in cases as old as Audrey's, becomes more likely.
That's a really insightful observation, and it highlights the importance of never giving up hope. The City Towner article reminds us that in cases like Audrey's, the pursuit of truth is an ongoing process, and even in the absence of immediate answers, the search for justice must continue.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, the quest for answers, for closure, should never be abandoned. But what about the emotional toll on those involved? Audrey's family, the investigators, even the residents of Catskill. It must be incredibly difficult to live with this unresolved mystery hanging over them.
The psychological impact of an unsolved disappearance is often overlooked. The article subtly hints at the collective trauma experienced by the community. The constant reminders, the lingering questions, the fear that it could happen again. It creates a sense of unease that can permeate every aspect of life.
It's like a shadow cast over the town, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of fate. And for Audrey's family, the pain must be amplified tenfold. To live with the not knowing, the constant wondering, it's a burden I can't even fathom.
It's heartbreaking, and it speaks to the enduring power of love and the profound impact of loss. The City Towner article, while focused on the investigative aspects of the case, also manages to convey the deep human cost of this unsolved mystery.
It's a reminder that behind every missing person's case, there are real people, real families, whose lives have been irrevocably altered. And for those families, the search for answers is not just about solving a crime. It's about finding a way to move forward, to make sense of the senseless, Anna.
That's beautifully put. And it brings us back to the importance of keeping Audrey's story alive, of continuing to ask questions, to explore every possible lead, even if it doesn't lead to immediate answers. The act of searching, of remembering, is a way of honoring Audrey's memory and acknowledging the profound impact her disappearance has had on those who loved her.
It's a reminder that even in the age of instant information and global connectivity, there's still mysteries out there that defy easy explanation. Cases like Audrey's, they remind us that we don't always get the closure we crave. And sometimes we have to learn to live with the unanswered questions.
That's a profound observation, and it speaks to the limitations of our understanding of the world. We often seek definitive answers, clear-cut resolutions, but life as we know it rarely offers such neat conclusions. The City Towner article and its exploration of Audrey's case inadvertently touches upon this very human need for resolution, for a sense of order in a world that can often feel chaotic and unpredictable.
It's almost as if the search for answers becomes a way of trying to impose order on the chaos, to find meaning in the face of the inexplicable. But what happens when those answers remain elusive? How do we reconcile ourselves to the possibility that some mysteries may never be solved?
It's a difficult question, and one that I don't think has a simple answer, but perhaps in the absence of concrete resolutions, we can find solace in the act of remembering, of honoring the lives of those who have been lost, and of acknowledging the ripple effects their absence has had on those left behind. In a way, the search for answers becomes a testament to their enduring impact on our lives.
That's a beautiful way to frame it. It's not just about solving a crime. It's about keeping the memory of the missing alive, about acknowledging the void they've left behind. And in Audrey's case, it's about recognizing the strength and resilience of her family, who have continued to fight for answers and keep her story in the public eye for over 2 decades.
Their dedication is truly inspiring. It speaks to the enduring power of love and the refusal to let go of hope, even in the face of overwhelming uncertainty. The City Towner article, while focused on the details of the investigation, also manages to capture this sense of unwavering hope that fuels the family's search for answers.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can endure. And for anyone listening who might have any information, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem about Audrey's disappearance, please come forward. You might hold the missing piece of the puzzle that could finally bring peace and closure to Audrey's family and the community of Catskill.
Every detail, every memory could be crucial. Don't underestimate the power of a single piece of information to shed new light on this case. It's never too late to come forward, and your contribution, however small, could make all the difference.
Let's recap what we know. Audrey May Herron, a dedicated nurse and loving mother of 3, vanished on August 29, 2002, while driving home from work in Catskill, New York. Her black 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the license plate X233UV has never been found. If you have any information, no matter how small, please contact the New York State Police.
And let's remember Audrey Herron for who she was, a caring nurse, a devoted mother, a valued member of her community. Her story deserves to be told, and her disappearance deserves to be solved. Perhaps by keeping her memory alive and continuing to seek answers, we can honor her life and offer a glimmer of hope to those who loved her.
Thank you for listening. May you find peace in your heart and in these streets. True crime, no bull.